funny question. What do you do with your hands?
Shaving, smoking, drinking.
Oh, you won't be able to feel anything, touch anything?
Eating food.
Couldn't play the piano?
It would be lost without my hands, wouldn't it?
I mean, I don't play the piano, but what I'm saying is you couldn't do things like that, could you?
I've just been playing the drums.
Is that a joke question?
Just they assist me in whatever I'm doing.
Writing.
Pick my nose.
Well, you need them in general.
Picking things up, putting them down.
The most, what you call it, sophisticated things on your body, really. Well, apart from your head, that is.
Without your hands, you can't do much, can you, really?
Well, everything from getting dressed to just everything.
Playing golf, playing tennis, shaving.
I use my hands for washing my face.
Manoeuvring things, manipulating things.
Everything. You need your hands for everything.
On a bitterly cold, windy day like today, no one would think twice about wearing gloves to protect their hands. Why? Because life would be impossible without them and they need protecting. Yet every day, people all over the country, people like you, are putting their hands at risk in environments far more risky than simply being outside in the cold. So if you work with your hands, stay with me as we take a quick look at how to protect them.
I was employed 3 years ago as a handdresser. Most of the work was involved on an upright grindstone. I worked from anything from 7 to 10 hours a day. I think we all felt a tingling sensation at some point of the day. At first it only started in the fingertips with 1 or 2 fingers. It gradually accelerated right the way through from tips right to the end of the fingers, and they were getting seriously quite numb. Straight away I asked to see the company doctor, explained the symptoms, and I was sent for blood tests, therefore ruling out anything else it could have been. But as soon as I did get called back to see him, he admitted it must be hand-arm vibration syndrome straight away.
Hand-arm vibration syndrome, or HAVS for short, covers a number of disabilities caused by using vibrating tools. It's a widespread problem that's only now beginning to be appreciated. The SEL is one of the country's largest heavy engineering employers. The consultant occupational physician is Dr. Fenella Rennie.
We're not quite certain how the vibration causes the kind of damage and symptoms that people get in their hands, but we're beginning to think that mostly it's due to damage to the nervous system in the hand. And this is a bit like the way in which we already know that noise damages hearing, in that the noise, the energy from the noise passes through the ear, and out in the back here, the noise damages the nerve, which takes the message to the brain, and that's what makes people go deaf. So if we go back to the hand, the nerves are these yellow stripes in the fingers, which do different things. For example, they may tell you whether you're touching something that's hot, or whether it's sharp, or whether you're touching it at all. And the result of this is that in different people, where different ones of these smaller nerves are affected, they can get different symptoms in their hands as a result of hand-arm vibration.
These are examples of what HAVS can look like. But even when there are little visible signs, the extent of the disability and pain can be severe.
What I want to do, Sean, is to examine your hand again to see if we can get some idea of what the feeling is like in it compared to previous times.
Right.
Now, as you know, this is sharp enough to be unpleasant.
Yeah.
Does that feel sharp?
Yeah.
I want you to tell me, as I come down your hand, if it changes in any way.
It just goes numb.
It goes numb on your thumb.
Yeah.
Now, we'll try each of the fingers in turn.
It just goes numb.
Right, let's try your other fingers and see how they compare.
People don't realise how serious it is.
What about the little finger?
Don't feel
I used to do a lot of fishing. I played darts. Can't do that anymore. Can't feel the lines. With it being freshwater fishing, fine lines between my fingers. I can't feel them. Can't pick up small screws. DIY. There's quite a few things you can't do a lot of now. Turning pages over on a paper. You wet your fingers all the time because you just can't feel the paper between your fingers.
If I'd have realised how bad it was when I got it, I wouldn't have even started the trade I did. I'd have jacked in. Because it's been, especially for me, for the last 7 years, it's been very hard. It affects you so much in work and out, and it's a constant pain.
It's not just shipyard workers who are at risk from HAVS. Almost any occupation that uses power tools may present a danger to you if you or your employer do not adopt a safe system of work. So now's the time to start looking after your hands before it's too late.
The first signs are just the tingling and the tips of your finger going white.
There's just no feeling, it's just completely dead, you know. You know, you couldn't feel, you couldn't, like say with a pen, you couldn't pick a pen up because you wouldn't be able to feel, you couldn't write because you've no feeling there, you know.
If you want to do your own maintenance on cars, during winter time you can't unscrew a screw.
It affects everything from sports, hobbies, whatever you want to do, because you can't feel your fingers.
So what can you do to reduce the risk of becoming disabled with HAVS? We'll be taking a quick look at just 3 industries between now and the end of this short video. But the basic principles apply to the use of all power tools. First, we'll look at the construction industry.
On a demolition site, we all wear one of these as part of a safe system of work. We wear them because we think our heads are worth protecting. But so are our hands. Yet every day thousands of construction workers protect their heads and put their hands at risk.
Think creatively about how you can avoid using vibrating tools in the first place. Here are 2 ways of demolishing concrete. The choice is obvious. Alternative methods may save your health, as well as saving your employer time and money. Maintaining your tools can help protect your hands. Replacing worn parts will minimise vibration and make your tools last longer. And your employer should also provide low vibration tools wherever possible. You can help reduce the effects of harmful vibration by taking short, regular breaks. Looking after your health is a statutory responsibility, so both you and your employer have a part to play. Wearing warm, dry clothing reduces the risk of developing HAVS by keeping your hands and body warm and maintaining your circulation when it's cold.
In addition to the practical precautions that people can take in relation to their work, it's important that those exposed to hand-arm vibration know that if they develop symptoms in their hands which they think may be related to work, that they should report those symptoms to a doctor. They can report them to their own doctors. If there is an occupational physician in their workplace, then they should report them there, or if there's a nurse in the workplace, they should report them there.
This morning I've called you up as a routine review for a vibration My Finger Medical because you're working with the vibration tools in the works.
At VSEL, we screen every person in the workforce who is exposed to hand-arm vibration, which is about 2,000 people. And what we do is we get them to come and see the nurse, and the nurse asks them questions about their current exposure to vibration and their current symptoms, and whether or not those symptoms have got worse or better or changed in any way since they were last seen. The importance of screening is that way we can pick up people early as soon as they are starting to have problems. And the other importance of screening is that it gathers information which tells the company which people are still getting symptoms, what kind of jobs they're doing, and this gives them guidance to further reduce the risk to people from hand-arm vibration. When we started our screening programme, one of the things that happened was that people were frightened initially to admit to symptoms because they thought that this may put their jobs at risk. They've now come to realise that it's very important they admit to symptoms because the earlier we catch people, the more likely it is that we can stop those symptoms from getting any worse.
You get attacks, you know, especially in cold weather.
Well, if I'd have known this sort of thing affects you like this, I wouldn't have done the job. Certainly wouldn't have done it.
I've been a member of a golf club and I've had to resign at the beginning of the year because I can no longer play golf in winter.
You get the numbness of the fingers, you can't obviously feel anything you touch. Therefore it affects every part of your life really.
I find it difficult to go shopping in a supermarket if I go down the cold aisles, the freezer aisles.
It's not only workers in factories and building sites that are at risk. Any environment that uses handheld power tools is a risky one.
The same basic rules that apply to the construction industry apply equally well to forestry. It's important you choose the best tool. This chainsaw has heated handles to improve blood circulation when it's cold, and isolation mounts to reduce vibration. And maintain your tools, replacing worn bearings and oil. If you work with a chainsaw, brush cutter or a strimmer, you should also take regular breaks and exercise your fingers. Another way to reduce the risk of being disabled with HAVS is to ensure that older tools are replaced as soon as newer and smoother running versions become available. Here at VSEL they have the technology to measure how much a particular tool vibrates. This is what happened when they ran the same test on the type of needle scaler they used to use and the more up-to-date version they replaced it with.
For the old needle scaler, the vibration levels that we obtained are shown by the blue line. We measured levels simultaneously for the left hand and the right hand. For the new needle scaler, the vibration levels obtained are shown by the red line, which is some 5 to 10 times lower than the line for the old needle scaler. And obviously the more modern equipment is less damaging to the hands.
Updating tools with newer and safer versions is one part of the HAVS prevention policy here at Doncaster's Monkbridge. But management have also adopted other practices to improve health and safety. For example, they've developed a system of cell production. This means workers only use high vibration tools for a limited amount of time. As well as reducing the risk of HAVS, it also improves motivation.
Another development has been to automate the most risky processes. Here's the old way of fusion cutting. And this is the new way.
As well as these innovations, the same basic rules also apply. Use the right tool for the job. Keep your tools in good working order. Take regular breaks or switch to another task. But remember, reducing the risk of HAVS is your employer's responsibility as well. These are the 4 important areas for your employer to consider.
Firstly, they should know about the tools you're using, the way you use them, how often and for how long you use them, and how your breaks are organised. They can find information on vibration levels and on safe operating methods from the manuals supplied with the tools. They should also ask you if you're experiencing tingling or numbness in your fingers after using any vibrating tool. With this information, they can work out a plan of action to reduce the risk to yourself and your colleagues. To begin with, they could see if the process can be changed to avoid vibration altogether. If not, then they should look into modifying the tools or replacing them with lower vibration alternatives, as well as reducing the time for which you use them. They should decide who is at risk. Anyone using a high vibration tool for 2 or more hours a day is probably at risk. But people using very high vibration tools for only a few minutes a day could also be at risk. The next stage is to put the plan into action. That also means telling you clearly about any control measures, such as job rotation or safer operating procedures. Reducing the time people spend using these tools is one of the most effective ways of keeping exposure within safe levels. Finally, management need to closely monitor the situation. That means screening employees and regular checks to ensure that the action plan is working. It also means listening to you if you come up with alternative ideas to reduce the risk of HAVS. Remember, for employers in every industry, good health is good business. Hand-arm vibration syndrome affects up to 500,000 people in this country. It's a particularly nasty and widespread problem, but there is help and guidance available from the HSE. Remember, it's your health, your job, and your personal life that are at stake. All it takes is a little time and thought. Your future is in your hands.
I worry about the future quite a lot because I'm so limited to what I can do now. I couldn't think of working outside. I couldn't think of working in the same kind of industry that I have been doing for the past 7 or 8 years since leaving school, because nobody would employ me knowingly with this condition.